I have a question. My question is, when will you show up? When are you going to start to show up? I don't know what that light is in my background. To God be the glory. I see this large light that's shining all of a sudden in the background. When are you going to start to show up? Now, this message specifically, I'm talking today to anyone who either is an entrepreneur, you have a goal, you have a dream, something you've been working on, especially for those of you who are already in business. I really have some words to say to you all. I know a lot of times when I talk to you all, I focus heavily on personal development, but very few people know that I do a lot of entrepreneurial development coaching as well. And I just finished evaluating and going over some of the websites and some of the new products and services and things some of the people in my mentorship program has just launched. So I kind of got some fire in me right now. And if they are joining me, you guys probably going to know I'm talking about some of you right now, but I'm not going to mention your name. My question is, when are you going to start to show up? Here's why I'm bringing this up. Do you not understand? And again, this is for many of you, or for those of you who are entrepreneurs, business owners, you have a product, a service, a book, something out there you're trying to do. Maybe you've already put your toe in the water. So you've already dabbled a little bit, everybody's done a little bit of something, right? We've all done a little something, right? And maybe you have couple things on your social media pages, but not too much. I'm talking about, when are you going to show up consistently, 100%, authentically? I'm talking about on your good days and on your bad days. And God knows I've had a series of both. When are you going to start to show up consistently? Let me go a little bit more detailed into this. So on Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays is when I have my entrepreneur workshop sessions. And that's for everyone who are members of the Unlocking Greatness community. We meet every other Wednesday, all of the entrepreneurs. And actually, let me just announce this really quickly. Tomorrow, we have a very, very special guest speaker coming. He's phenomenal. Keith is a president, a CEO. His company is nationwide. There's very few companies you can mention that's not already his client. So he's going to be joining us tomorrow. And so one of the things I was doing, I was inside of the community, and I was looking at some of the posts and some of the new products and launches that some of the entrepreneurs in there have posted. And I'm going to their pages, and they're going to know I'm talking about them. And they're the most phenomenal people you can be around. Most phenomenal people. I'm talking outgoing, you name it. Just they fit the brand so well. Some of them, I would love to show one of her brands right now. Hopefully, let me just say it like this. For one of the people that's in my mentorship, who just shipped me out my teas today. You know what teas I'm talking about. If you're on this live, let me know if it's okay that I show your product, because I'm actually sitting here drinking it now and I love it. You did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you, by the way. I just showed your packaging to my staff. I love this hibiscus tea. It is extremely good. But give me permission and let me know if you're on this live, if you're on here, if I can show it to people, because I actually want to use you as a pretty good example. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is every other Wednesday, the person that I just mentioned, she's one of the ones that I coached into, hey, how about you start offering products and services? Because she already has food products and her products out there in some grocery stores, some drink beverages. But I said, how about you offer some sort of dried products and services so that people like myself from all around the world, we can order from you. So I walked her through that entire coaching process, just not every single step, but walked her through with her getting that launched. And now I'm so proud of her. My order just got delivered and I'm sitting here drinking her tea, and it's absolutely beautiful. So anyway, let me get back on point. Hopefully she'll give me permission to show it and to give her websites. You guys can buy her teas. It's phenomenal. The reason I'm asking when are you guys going to show up is because what I'm noticing is that we are spending a lot of time, you guys, in prayer and asking God to deliver us and to help us and to open doors. And it's rare that I speak to one of you all, especially for those of you who've joined the Unlocking Greatness community. It's very rare that I speak to one of you all and I don't discover, let me use that word, a product, a service, or something out there that you have or you want to offer. In many cases, it's a book or it's a coaching program or it's a service or it's a whatever, somebody got some of everything. But I'd say 95% of everyone I talk to, we're not fully showing up. And you want to know the main reason why we're not fully showing up? We're concerned about what other people are going to think or say. Even if we don't admit it, that's what we're concerned about. So I want to show you guys a scripture too in the Bible that I hold to. And this is why I do my best to set an example with showing up. You guys know how hard it is some days where things are not going well for me, right? You know, my kids, they're back visiting from college now, and God knows there's, when you got four adult kids with, one is no longer with me, but three adult kids, all adults, and all together in the household, you can imagine some of the stuff that happens with all of that. But I got a whole lot of distractions and things that come my way, right? But I still have to make the decision that no, 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 no. God has given me a gift and a talent, and it is an obligation that I show up. And so what I'm hoping that for whoever's watching this live right now, I'm hoping that one or two of you guys at least make the decision, you know what? Z's right. I've not been showing up 100%. I've not been showing up 100%. I looked through some of the websites today from some of those who are in my mentorship group, and you guys are more than welcome to join. That's at unlockinggreatness.com. I strongly advise you get your butt in there, especially for the workshop we're having tomorrow. But one of the sites I even went to today, Phenomenal Woman. I looked at her site. She's probably going to smile when she sees that I'm talking about her, and I'm like, but where are you on the site? I mean, beautiful woman, amazing services that she offers. I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to call her out. And I'm like, but where are you? Where are you at in this? Like, I love you. She's so dynamic, so outgoing. I mean, her personality, everything about her. I notice that many of us, when we show up, it's almost like it's behind the scenes. We don't really come fully with it. So is there anyone that can relate to what I'm saying, or am I just talking to myself today? Let me see here. Hey, Stephanie, I see you, baby. Hello. Let me see a couple things here. Thank you, baby, for the badge. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So someone says yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that you can relate to that. So this may be just for you. Let's turn over really quickly to Isaiah chapter 60. I've read Isaiah chapter 60 a lot when I've been on my lives. But let me explain to you why I meditate on this passage. Almost every day I read it, Isaiah 60 and Isaiah 61. I'm not going to read through the whole passage, but the whole point of it is about the glory of the Lord coming up on you. And this is what it looks like when the glory of the Lord is up on you. And there are some key things in this passage. Someone is saying, Z, I can relate. Okay, I'm glad you can relate to that. Shawanja says, yes, see, I can relate. Okay, well, hopefully I will be able to light a fire in you to get you up and going. Ryan says, I feel like I've been purposely hiding myself. I'm so glad that you're open and honest about that, baby. Maybe this live is just for you. Let me premise this by saying, and I know I've said this a lot to you all, but I don't know any other way of saying this. You guys, we're not here forever. Thank you, baby, for the heart or whatever that was. We're not here forever, you guys. We're not here forever. So we can't allow, and I'm especially talking to coaches out there because I have a number of coaches inside of my mentorship. We cannot allow, think about this for a moment, what another bag of water thinks about us. We cannot allow another bag of water to stop us from moving forward because of fear of what somebody's going to say about our product or about our service or about the way we look. You guys think I don't get that kind of negativity and things thrown at me? Where people have talked about my afro, people have talked about, name something. I don't know why you're not wearing red lipstick. You need some lipstick on, I've had people say, you need to at least do something with your nails, I don't have time to deal with all that. I don't care about putting some polish on. I'm not against it. But the kind of things that come at me, or some people say, you're not a licensed minister. How it is that you're talking about God? Well, I didn't know I got to be licensed to actually talk about God. You get my point? When that opposition comes against you, you guys got to understand this. Let me just slow this down a little bit. You have to understand the opposition is simply doing what it's supposed to be doing. There are people in your life who are in your life simply because they're on an assignment. Even sometimes when I go live, there are some people that come into the lives just to look and say something negative. You get my point? They're on an assignment. Because something's got to be wrong with someone's life. Something's got to be off with them if in their valuable, precious time that they've been given, think about that for a moment, they choose to spend that time to come on your live to basically be critical and start saying something negative about you. You know what I do when someone's live or when something's on and I don't like it? I turn the channel or I just keep swiping and keep going. You want to know why? Because I don't have time to sit and watch someone do a live event and waste my precious time commenting and saying something negative. First of all, I wouldn't do that anyway, right? I'm busy doing whatever God is telling me to do. I'm busy focusing on what I have in mind. So you can't let those people who are on an assignment Someone says you're absolutely right. They're on an assignment. Thank you, DJ. They are on an assignment, and their assignment is to get you to stop yourself. Say that one more time. Their assignment is to get you to stop yourself. That's called being on an assignment. And guess what? Sometimes that can come from your own doggone family members, loved ones, friends, and different people. Sometimes people can just be on an assignment. That's why not everybody can be with you at every season of your life. That's a whole nother subject. Let me get to this reading that I'm doing. Someone says, it's my family. They refuse to stop calling and spewing negativity. Yeah, sometimes people can be just on an assignment in the whole role. How many of you have ever set out to do something? Now, I'm primarily speaking quite a bit right now to entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, those who at least have a goal or a dream or entrepreneur goal in mind. You probably didn't even get it off the ground yet. You probably haven't done anything with it. All you know is you got a really, really good idea. You're the main ones I'm speaking to today. And probably because tomorrow I'm having my next entrepreneur session, which I welcome you all to join. That's at unlockinggreatness.com. My mentorship is back open for entrepreneur coaching as well as personal development. But tomorrow's session, we're focusing on entrepreneurs. We got a lot of entrepreneurs in there. We have a special guest speaker coming tomorrow. He's going to blow you guys away with some of the content he's going to share that's going to really help and encourage entrepreneurs who are having their ups and their downs. So I'm sort of prefacing tomorrow's live workshop that we're going to be having, which is going to be beyond phenomenal. But anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. In Isaiah chapter 60 and 61, the reason I read this so much is because in verse 1 it says, arise, shine. It says, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises up on you. And then it goes on to talk about nations. I'm in verse 3. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. And in some translations it say rising. Now you may say, well, Z, why do you read that all the time? Because this is all about what it looks like when the Lord's favor is shining upon you. There's a lot of secrets hidden in this. And if you really look at this passage really good, let me slow down. If you really dive into this passage heavily, you'll see that mine is completely marked up. You'll see the secrets that God is giving us. And a lot of this is premised around, of course, serving him and allowing his glory to shine upon you. But a lot of it is premised around your butt showing up. You showing up. Making yourself known out there. And when I say making yourself known, I don't mean in a prideful way. I mean you making your service known, your knowledge known, your product known, you known, right? Everything that we do is to glorify and honor God. But for those of you who are entrepreneurs and who have these businesses and ideas and go, so many times I see, because I've been in a lot of sessions, you guys talk so much about what you need to do and the service you need to get out there. And I need to get this launch and I need to do this. Let me just tell you guys something. It's not always about the website or actually the product or this or that. It's about you showing up. Listen to this little secret right here. Here's another one. Verse 11 is one of my favorite verses. I'm in Isaiah 60, verse 11. Your gates will always stand open. What does that mean, that your gates will always stand open? Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night. Why? So that men may bring you the wealth of the nations, their kings led in triumphal procession. Now I'm going to see who can go deep with me for a moment. Isaiah 60, verse 11. What do you think that means when it's saying, and this is all about the favor of the Lord coming upon your life. What do you think this means? What's a hidden something that you can see in this when it says, your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night. I want to see, can somebody just talk to me for a minute and capture that? Someone says, what scripture? That's Isaiah 60, baby. And I'm reading the NIV right now. Someone says, I just joined. Welcome, baby. I'm so glad to have you. So what do you guys think that means when it says your gates shall always stand open? What does that mean? What does that mean? Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night, so that men may bring you the wealth of the nations. And it goes on to talk about a whole lot about what's going to happen as the Lord's favor comes up on you. You know, if you turn to chapter 61, all who see them will acknowledge that they are people the Lord has blessed. I mean, it's such an amazing, Isaiah 60 and 61 really gives a lot of secret wisdom if you soak into it. But what do you think it means when God has an opening for you, no man can shut it? Okay, that's good. What else does that mean? What else does that mean? Your gates shall always be open. What do you guys think that means? You will always have favor. That's good. Come on, Lorraine. What do you think that means, that your gates will always stand open? They will never be shut day or night, so that men may bring you the wealth of the nations. Who else can speak to me on that? Because I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, Just Jenny says your businesses. Thank you, Just Jenny. Go a little deeper with that. Go a little deeper with that. Go a little deeper with that. Tanya says overflow. Okay, Tanya. See, now we getting there. Now we getting there. Hopia says no limit with God. What else does that mean? Your gate shall always be open. God is always there waiting on you to receive his blessing. Come on, Shoe. Someone named Shoe Design. Come on. Give me one more. What else does that mean? Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night. So let me ask you this way. What can that mean for you? Come on, DJ. DJ say maybe your businesses will always be prosperous. Someone says, Lizette says, there will be no blocking to your success. God will provide. No matter what happened in life, we will always have blessings. There will be no hindrance to whatever you want to achieve. Come on. Come on. Someone says, Lorraine says, take God out of the box. Come on, Lorraine. Come on. Someone says, God's people will be in your life. Yes. Laura says, wealth comes in 24 hours. Someone says, that's my favorite verse. It means you would never lack. Come on, Kyler. Like wisdom, knowledge, financial prep. Now, let's take this now a little step further. I'm going to slow this down. I'm not going to rush. I know some of you guys may have to get back from lunch. Is it possible, when you're thinking about this, your gates will always stand open? And if you read through the whole thing, it talks about they will look up on you, your heart will be radiant, your heart will throb and swell with joy, the wealth of the seas will be brought to you the riches of the nation will come. It's a really amazing verse about when the glory of the Lord is shining up on you. But when you think about for yourself personally, someone says what verse? We're in Isaiah 60, baby. And someone says, put no limitations on what God will do. Yes. When you look at that verse, and I'm speaking primarily right now to a lot of entrepreneurs, to those who have goals and dreams and stuff like that. What does it mean when it says your gates will always stand open? If your gates need to always stand open so that, and what does it say? Men may bring the wealth of the nations. Doesn't that mean that you got to show up? Wouldn't that mean that whatever it is that you're launching or offering or doing, right? Just like King Solomon, if you think about it, right? He had people come to him from afar. Why? Because word of him spread all over the world because of the wisdom and the knowledge that he had, right? It's almost like social media. The word begins to spread all over because you're showing up. So my question to you is, how are you allowing your gates to stand open? That's why I'm titling this message, I think I called this, When Will You Show Up? Does that make sense now? When are you going to show up? Here's a good way of putting this. I should have led this way. When are you going to open your gates so that the wealth of the nations will be poured out onto you? When are you going to open those gates? Now, of course, for those of you who may have something negative to say, who don't know me, God is first and foremost in my life, and nothing comes before him, including money, just to be extremely clear. But I also know that God is a God of abundance, and God desires to bless us. And the wisdom and the talents that God has given us, we are meant to put that out there. Number one, always to worship God and put him first. Number two, always to serve and help others in some way, fashion, or form, right? But there's certainly nothing wrong also with growing your business or whatever it is you're trying to do, that product, that service, or whatever it is, so you can not only even bless God and people even more, but also to leave generational wealth and blessings for your family. That's actually biblical, believe it or not. Now, I didn't grow up in church really hearing that part, to be honest with you, because I always kind of grew up thinking it's wrong to, do anything where you're trying to get money or grow a business or pursue wealth. I had a very warped view of success because I thought, well, money is the root of all evil. So I thought anybody that had money, you're kind of evil. And I didn't realize that my thinking was way off. But, I've matured, for those of you who are in your 50s and 60s like me, we live and we learn and we grow. Now I realize, that wasn't what that passage was meaning at all. That doesn't mean that I can't go out and grow and use these products and services and these ideas God has given me to create. In fact, God is telling me my gates need to always stand open. They should never be shut day or night, so that men may bring you the wealth of the nations. So does that make sense to you all? Someone says, when a door is closed on your face, believe that God will open another one for you. Come on. Yep, worship God, not the money. Amen. Come on, baby. Come on. Someone says there will be no hindrance to whatever you want to achieve. I'm reading this point here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying that. So does that make sense to you all? So the reason why I'm kind of coming in a little hot today is because, as I said before, on Wednesdays is when I have the entrepreneur workshops. And for those of you who are not a part of that, first of all, on Mondays, every other Monday, we meet for personal development, because I understand not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. But for those of you who have any kind of a goal, dream, vision you're trying to get off the ground, if you have not gotten that off the ground, or you've not gotten the blueprint for that, or you're trying to grow that, you've been frustrated, you're just kind of out there doing it on your own, I highly recommend you get yourself into any type of a good mentoring or coaching program where you're going to get that help that you need. Highly recommend it. I've told you all a number of times, whether you get in mine or someone else's, that's up to you. But baby, don't get out there just trying to do it on your own. There's a beautiful passage in the Bible that teaches us, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So you get to go with greater speed and capacity as you surround yourself with people who are able to help you and help navigate that pathway. And I think I told you all the other day, I get coaches all the time. In fact, I just set up a new coaching session this Thursday with a brand new coach I don't know anything about, but there's some things I saw about him. I saw him on YouTube and the way he teaches, and some strategic things that he does with his funnels and different things. It's a whole nother conversation. For those of you entrepreneurs, you know what I'm talking about. I've already set up a session with him. Why? Because I'm constantly trying to grow in wisdom and in stature and in knowledge. And when I meet together with those that I coach on Wednesdays, I want to make sure I'm bringing something new to the table. I want to make sure they're going from that product idea, that service, or what have you, that first of all, let me be clear, they're putting God first. You cannot be in my program at all. I shouldn't say that. Let me put it this way. You will not be able to get any coaching from me that does not include putting God first. I'm sorry, that's just the way I am, because I think God has to be at the forefront of that, right? So putting him first and understanding that you need to be walking in his will, because it may not be his will to do what you're trying to do in the first place. But anyway, the first couple of weeks into my program, you're going to be focusing heavily on who the heck am I, and is this even what God wants me doing? Right? And you guys, the rest of you already know the process. You're going to go through a couple weeks on figuring out what you got to let go of so that you can climb to that next level, right? And then you're going to go into your season of preparation. And by God's grace, I pray you then walk into that season of walking in mastery, right? But my whole point is, you have to put God first. That's first and foremost. And then you got to really, really, really work on that mindset. We have a lot of limiting beliefs, and it's something, you guys, that I work on even myself. Why do you think I get coaches, right? And I know I love God. You ain't going to find a night where you're not going to see me, not too many nights, I should say, sitting in my closet just praying before God and pouring out my heart to him and worshiping him in song and in prayer. But I still have to work on limiting beliefs. And so I even go out and get coaches and get the help that I need. So my message to you all, the topic is, when are you going to show up, is what are you going to do differently, baby? So that you can maximize and use this time that you have left to do what God has placed you here to do. So whatever that goal is, whatever that vision is, whatever that dream is, when are you going to start showing up? So I want to hear from you all in this comment. Someone says, what's the website again? My site is unlockinggreatness.com. And the link should be in my bio. And I announced this 2 days ago, I just put my introductory offers back up there, which, if I can be very, very transparent, I didn't think I was ever going to put back up again, to be honest with you, ever. And I just put that back up there. So those introductory rates are actually right back up there for personal development, which we meet every other Monday, and for entrepreneur development, which we meet every other Wednesday. So if you do decide to get in there, especially the entrepreneur, make sure that you introduce yourself in the community. And please make sure you join us tomorrow on our live workshop session. We're going to have an amazing guest speaker come, and we're going to be, after he leaves, then I'm going to put some people in the hot seat, which they love, and we're going to be going to your social media pages and your website and kind of evaluating some things and really saying, are you showing up? And so I want to go back to what my question was. Someone says, thank you, this has blessed my spirit. And someone says, what time? On Wednesdays, we meet at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, baby. So that'll be tomorrow that we meet. But if you do get in there today, make sure you start going through the Necessary Retreat. That's based on my book, Necessary. Please start on it right away, even if you can only get through 1 or 2 lessons, because that helps shape your mindset so you can at least have some clarity. As you start moving forth, you want to make sure you're moving forth in the right direction. So my question is, what are you guys going to do today to start showing up? what decision are you going to make to start showing up? I told you before, I don't care what program you join, find one. Find one. Or find your local community church or a local organization or something. If you feel like, you know what, I need to get some help and get some support, I strongly recommend don't try to do it on your own, meaning get some outside support if you can. And if you can get into a coaching program, get yourself into one that's Bible-based and mindset-based if you can find one like mine out there. But what are you going to do today to start showing up? Now, I got a challenge for you, for whoever's about to answer this, because I'm going to hit you with something in just a minute. Laura says, signed up. Welcome, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you. What are you going to do today to start showing up? So someone says, go over a business plan with God and ask for his favor on my decision making. I love that, baby. And I would say take that a step further. Now listen to me. Let me get on you a little bit. That's step one, which we always need to do. And that's actually what I even teach in my program. But baby, get around people who've mastered what you're already trying to do. Trust me, I've made a lot of mistakes because I thought I can figure it out on my own. And days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and unfortunately, months turned into years because I was making so many mistakes and doing things that felt right, looked right to me. But then when you have an expert comes in, so like on Wednesdays, for those who are in my mentorship, you guys already know. When we pull people up on the screen, we have Zoom calls and we pull them up like next on the screen, and whoever wants to be on it, anyone can be on it, to be honest with you. And we go to their site. It literally takes sometimes not even a minute, and they know, if you guys are on here, go ahead and comment. Sometimes not even a minute or two. For not only myself, but everyone in the community, because we all see it. It literally takes us about a minute just to be able to look and see, oh, well, this needs to be changed. And wait, this part doesn't make any sense. Well, whoa, where are you at on the site? Why aren't you present? You get my point? And you have a person that's been sitting there for 2-3 years thinking the product isn't good, feeling like giving up, worked on it all this time with no outside help, right? Just praying and just hoping and not realizing iron sharpens iron. And so just in that little bit, and I wish I can show this product. Oh my goodness. If you are on this live, I don't even want to say your name because I don't want to call you out, but you know who you are. In my mentorship program, and you just launched your hibiscus tea product, and you actually sent me mine. If you're in this live and you give me permission to show your product, I would love to show it to everybody, because I would love to show them an example of what it looks like when you get that outside support and that extra help. You know, some ideas were pointed out to this one member of my entrepreneur part of my community that she didn't even think about. You know, she's established with selling her beverages, her drinking beverages. And I brought to her attention, baby, get something that we can buy. Get something, she has some amazing teas, from Africa. She's just absolutely amazing. And I'm like, and so within the last several months, that's what she's been doing, getting her product development and getting it all going, And she finally launched it. It's absolutely beautiful. The tea is amazing. And I'm like, and so she's like, Z, I didn't even think about that concept really until it was brought to me that this is what I need to be doing. That's why as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Even in your personal development. If you're like, Z, I'm really not into entrepreneur stuff. I'm really into personal. Same thing. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So, baby, I want to come back to you again really quickly. The one that said he's going to get his business plan and go to God with it. I'm so proud of you. That is step one. Most important step you can make. But, baby, that's step 2. That's step 3. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there, because God can be giving you the green light, but you also got to work on you. Do you have any limiting beliefs at all? Are there any things in you that you need to let go of? Do you understand the hurdles that you got to overcome as you begin to launch and grow nationally, right? Are you around like-minded people or people who've mastered where you're trying to go? See, these are the things I didn't learn when I was growing up, because you guys don't know this. I grew up pretty much in church almost every day. My grandpa was the preacher. Everybody in my family's ministers. But the point I'm getting at is that I never understood the importance of mindset developing and of coaching and getting that outside help, because I always was just about, well, God will work it out and God will show me, and God has always been there for me, just to be clear. But I never understood the concept of as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. There's another beautiful passage in Proverbs that talks about plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. If anyone can find that passage real quick, put it in there. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. So sometimes, I'm speaking from my own experience, sometimes I honestly just thought either God wasn't with me, or why does it seem that everybody else is kind of figuring it out, and I'm kind of going in circles, like couldn't get my thing going, whatever it was I was working on at the time. But I didn't know I wasn't in the right company and in the right environment with people who've been there, done that, so that I can save a lot of time and also go at a faster speed, but do it the right way because of coaching. You know what I'm saying? Or because, and I'm not saying you have to have a coach, but just examples in my life of, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do this. Does that make sense? Now, this may resonate for a lot of you all who are trailblazers. I've always been a trailblazer. So I've always kind of figured things out on my own and made a lot of mistakes along the way. This is why it's so important. I cannot stress it enough. It's so very important, especially for those of you who have been frustrated. You're trying to grow something. You're trying to grow. Maybe you already got your business, your coaching program, whatever it is, but it's not quite taken off. Baby, you can save yourself a lot of years of time and frustration. And again, don't have to get in my program. Find one you like. Find one you like. You get to do whatever you want to do, but get your butt in something where you can be with like-minded people who can take a step back and look and say, whoa, like, you know, when I do executive business coaching, many of you all don't even know I do one-to-one executive business coaching sessions as well. It's not something I talk about when I go live, so you guys are probably not used to this kind of live, because I normally, when I go live, don't talk business. I mainly just focus on personal development. But someone said to me the other day, said, Z, they don't really know anything about the amazing, growth there is in business and how much that entrepreneur community is growing because you don't talk about it. And I'm like, you're right. I need to show up more and talk about that more. But when I focus more on coaching people for entrepreneur development, one of the main things is when I come in, and not just myself, other members of the community, when we're able to look at something, you can be able to look and see within a couple of minutes something that can save someone years of time. So anyway, my whole point, I went way too far into that. And for those who are asking, my site is unlockinggreatness.com. You guys can feel free to join. My introductory rates are back on my site as of 2 days ago. The point I was making, here's where I was getting at, is when are you going to show up? Because in Isaiah 60, verse 11, one of my favorite passages says, your gates will always stand open, for they will never be shut day or night, so that men may bring you the wealth of the nations. And the whole point that I was trying to make is, are you even showing up, number one? And are your gates open, right? So that wealth can be brought to you. Does that make sense? Because most people say, I have no idea, I don't know how to do it, and da-da-da-da. And then you spend all that time trying to figure it out on your own, when if you're in the right environment, baby, do you not understand what's taking weeks? And now, let me be clear on something. Let me be really clear. Let me slow down, because I want to make sure I'm operating it and saying this the right way. This is not about join my thing, my mentorship, my whatever. I'm trying to teach you all that some of you have the skills, the talents. You can write a book better than somebody else. You can probably coach somebody better than the majority of these coaches out here, right? But because you've not positioned yourself in the right environment or with the right people or in the right groups, or you don't have the right mindset, or you don't know even how to do it, you can be really, really, really limiting yourself. And all that time when you're thinking, why is it not working? Why is my platform not growing? Your answers are around you, because God uses men to help men. There's an apostle, his name is Apostle Joshua Selman from Africa. I listen to him all the time. I just love him. And he says that a lot. God uses men to help men. And when I say men, I mean men and women. He uses men to help men. And we forget that part. So we sit and we think, I can't figure it out. Or why is it not growing? Or maybe it was the wrong idea, when it's like, no, baby. Are you aware that you just need to do these 3 things right here? And all of this is actually going to be fixed? Does that make sense? So anyway, I went much further than I wanted to. I'm going to turn over to Matthew chapter 25 real quick, and then I'm going to close out. So someone says, I have an idea, but it's only on paper, not sure how to start. See, that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. And I'm saying that with love, baby. Prime example is that sometimes we can have the ideas, we can have the gifts, right? I know some people that are amazing artists or amazing writers or what have you, but we don't know the first thing to do to begin to start. That's why I just said, get yourself into the right environment. If you can get into a coaching community, mine is definitely open, but if you can get into one, get yourself into a good coaching community or get yourself in the right environment. Ask your local church or local organization, do they have any type of resources? You can even go sometimes to your local small business administration and join some of those meetings, but get yourself in the right environment and with the right people who's already done that so that they can sit there and help you. Maybe not exactly step by step here, every single thing you need to do, but they can at least give you a blueprint and help you get on your way. So anyway, someone says Jesus loves you all. Proverbs 15:22, is that the passage, Colette? Let's turn to it really quickly. She said Proverbs 15:22. Let me see if that's the one, because I had asked somebody to look that passage up for me. I got to get off of this live. Proverbs 15:22. Yes, thank you, Colette. Thank you. Says plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Thank you, Colette. Thank you for sharing that. Tricia says this is so good I get distracted. We have a challenge going on right now inside of the Unlocking Greatness community. And my site is Unlocking Greatness, by the way, for those of you who want to join, because we just put the introductory prices back up, which is extremely low right now to be able to get in. But we have a challenge going on called the Impossible Challenge. And I wish you are part of that challenge, Tricia. And we're challenging people to do things that they think is going to take a year or two to accomplish and to try to compress it into maybe 2 weeks or a month. And we have some people, I just read some of the comments in there, who have made some tremendous changes already, just over the next week, some changes that they're making. We have a section in there called Hold Me Accountable, where people are held accountable. So I would strongly advise, if you do decide to get in there, make sure you take advantage of that. And that's another thing I want to say really quickly. Just because you get into a group or a mentorship program or something does not mean everything's going to change for you. And you guys may say, well, Z, I didn't expect that. But I just got to be honest with you guys. I'm not responsible for changing your life and for fixing you. I'm really not. No coach really is, to be honest with you. You get yourself into a good coaching or mentoring program, especially you entrepreneurs who I'm talking to right now, so that you can at least be aware of what's possible, right? Learn from others, perhaps get some sort of a blueprint at least to kind of know the direction to go. And then really a lot of that still falls on you showing up, you applying what you've learned, right? Reviewing lessons, going through the mindset exercises. And I'm bringing that up because I said this the other day. Inside of my mentorship program, I've included, at least temporarily for right now, I don't know how long that'll last, and I'm being very honest in terms of the retreat. And that might even change by this Thursday, perhaps. But right now, since I put the introductory rate back up there, my necessary retreat, that entire 12-week retreat that I sell by itself for $500, that's included no matter if you choose personal development or entrepreneur. I literally threw it in there. It literally is free. It's a part of any mentorship program that you go with, whether personal development or entrepreneur. I say that to say, when I went behind the scenes and looked at how many people are actually walking through that retreat, I was really surprised to see the lack of people that were taking the time to really walk through it. And it is literally a transformational journey. It's based on my book, Necessary. And it has all the mindset exercises, the videos in there, the courses. It's an amazing transformational journey that helps you to figure out who you are, how to capture in the spirit what's yours before you get it in the physical. And it walks you through an amazing journey. It was very few people who had completed the entire journey. And some of the very people who are like, wow, I need some more help and I'm not really figuring this out. When you go in behind the scenes and look, you'll see, oh my goodness, they literally only started like 2 lessons and didn't go back in. Now I say that to say, I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm making a point. Just because you join a program does not necessarily mean you're going to have the change you're looking for, because that change is from within. No one can force you to show up. And I understand life happens. I get that, you guys. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just making a point. No one can force you to change. You've got to show up. You've got to be committed. You know, just like in prayer, I'm committed that every day I got to be in prayer. Before I go to bed at night, I've got to pray for at least an hour. I've got to war in the spirit every single night, every morning. I got to be committed to working out, which I have a great coach by the name. Her name's Audrey. I hope she's on this live right now, right? I'm committed to reading my Bible. I'm committed to growing in wisdom and in stature. Now, yes, I have a coach or two out there that coaches me and talks to me, but they're not responsible for my growth. They're just responsible for helping me to not be in a cage mindset and seeing what's possible. So I've gone way left field. This is not my normal live where I normally am talking personal development. I'm mainly talking a lot of entrepreneur development today, probably because tomorrow we're having a live workshop session with all the entrepreneurs, and we have an amazing guest speaker coming. If you all go to my website at unlockinggreatness.com, click on the workshop schedule, and you can read a little bit more about it. But I mean, his company is nationwide. He's phenomenal, and he's like, Z, we're going to get this straight. We're going to help these entrepreneurs. And so he's an amazing brother. And for those of you who are part of the Unlocking Greatness community, you're going to be in for a big treat tomorrow. Okay, let me get my butt off of here. Let me read this. Tiffany, hey Tiffany, oh my God, I love you and I miss you. It's been so long since I've talked to you, Tiffany. Tiffany said, it's true, Z. We have to do the work. We have free will to follow through to do the necessary work. I love that, Tiffany. And as you know, you may know, so I don't think you're a member of my community, but in the at unlockinggreatness.com, that entire retreat I have is called the Necessary Retreats. I love that you use the word necessary. But good seeing you, Tiffany. Florence says we have to learn from others. Tricia says, I started on the prayer challenge. I love that. And Tricia, you said you are a member in there. Make sure in that hold me accountable section, make sure you make a note on that in terms of what are you going to do? What are you going to put in place, Trish, so that you're not getting distracted? What are some of the things? Because one of the things that I talk about in there, and you already know what I'm talking about, is even limiting the time that you're on social media. You know, like that's a part that you learn as you go through that necessary retreat. I think that's around lesson 7 or 8 or so, right? Is, are you committed to limiting the amount of time that you're online right now because you're trying to focus on this dream and this goal that God has in place for you? Okay, I love you all. Oh, let me see. There's a scripture in Matthew. Let me turn there. For those who are just joining, this was not my typical live like I normally do. This live really was more geared towards entrepreneurs, those who have a dream or goal or what have you, probably because I get a lot of messages from people. Z, I want to do a podcast, all right? I'm a coach, but I'm not getting much sales. I'm trying to grow a membership community like you, but I'm not getting more members in, or I'm trying to whatever it is. And then I'll go to your social media pages or your channels, and I'm like, well, where are you? Like, where are you at? Or it's not consistent content coming in or something. And so my whole point I'm trying to get at is, when are you going to show up? When are you going to make the decision that, you know what? I heard this lady speak today, and this lady was talking about how short time is. And I know for a fact I've been working on this dream or this goal all these years, and I got to do something different. So when are you going to make a decision? You know what? I'm going to do something different today. I got to get out of my own head and get some outside help. And that's what I meant when I said earlier, you don't have to get into my program. Find one that you like, a coach you like. Not everybody likes that I talk about God as well, because I can't separate the two. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I will never in my life ever be on a platform where I can't make that announcement. I would never in my life change my strategy, which a whole lot of coaches have recommended for me to do, so that I can blow up and get a whole lot more members in my group. I know that I can do 100 or 1,000 times more if I just take the Bible out of it, if I just don't incorporate the Word of God into my program. I can get a whole lot more sponsors too, you guys. Just so you know, a whole lot more than you're aware. But the devil is a lie. So I know I'm not a coach for everybody, because with me, you're going to get personal development. And yes, we're going to talk about your prayer life, your walk with God. Are you even in his will and doing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place? Or are you just chasing seeds that don't belong to you because you're just trying to get something? Yeah, we're going to go into deep about the scriptures. We have to, right? But you're also going to get that entrepreneur coaching. And we're still going to apply biblical principles to that. So that's just me, and I understand I'm not a fit for all of you guys. Some of you have even told me, I just wish you didn't talk about God or open up the Bible. Well, baby, I love you anyway, but I'm just not the coach for you. My point is, find one that is for you. Get the help your butt needs, and I say that with love, and do something different so that you can start getting the results that you want. That's all I'm saying. When are you going to show up? Or are you going to just continue doing the exact same thing every single day in and day out and blaming it on circumstances and other situations? And if you have a coach, If you have a coach and you feel like you need some more help, reach out to that coach and see if there's additional, services or whatever, that coach offers, so you can get a little bit more. Not everybody can get one-on-one with coaches. I get that, because that is very expensive. My one-to-one sessions, my executive coaching sessions, are not cheap. They're not. But the people that are in those, and these are the ones that get the one-on-one where we get together every week, they're growing like you wouldn't doggone believe it, because if you get an hour along with me, trust me, you're going to go from A to Z really quickly, right? But not everybody can afford one-to-one executive coaching. I get that. So get yourself into a good coaching community. I have one at Unlocking Greatness, right, where we all come together every other week as a group, right? And if that's all you can afford to do, at least get that and begin to get some help. But don't keep doing the same thing over and over. That's the point I'm making. If it's not working out, don't keep doing the same thing. If you don't write that book or produce that product or that service, do you not think somebody else is not going to do it? Somebody else going to come along and you're going to be sitting there like, that was my idea. That was my book. I was going to do that. You get my point? Let me read some of these comments, and I'm going to read Matthew, I think it's 25. I pray you guys are encouraged by this. You guys, you really don't know that every single day I pray for you guys. Every single day I'm asking God, how do I lift you and how do I help your people? And I think about you guys every single day. So I'm going to read Matthew 25 in a minute. Let me just read some comments. Someone says, I love your platform, and that's where I started to understand the Word of God. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Someone says, hey, sis, how you doing? I'm doing good, baby. Thank you for asking. Sharon says, yes, we are encouraged. Lisa says, I love your energy. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys put comments in, put them in again so they can appear first, because I can't do a ton of scrolling on the window. So I apologize if I didn't see your comment. Just put it in again. Melissa says, thank you for doing this and for sharing your knowledge. DM says, amen. Yes, stand for what you believe. If it is not from God, you don't want it. You better say it. You better say it. And the world may never know. You guys may never know, because I don't think I'll ever tell it, how much money I've turned down and how many opportunities I've lost simply because I refuse to get out here and have any kind of a platform where I can't mention anything about God or about the Bible. The world may never know, but I know that God is going to bless me anyway, and He'll continue to open doors. And whoever is for me, God will move in their hearts to come, and whoever is not, that it's okay as well. So thank you for saying that, baby. Someone says, I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you. Someone says, how do I sign up? How do I sign? You need that coaching. I think just trying to say, how do I sign up for coaching? My site is unlockinggreatness.com. I just maybe two days ago or so opened my introductory rates back open. I actually really didn't think that I would ever do that again. I won't even go into more detail about that. But I don't do things exactly the way everyone says things should be done. So some business owners may never do what I did, but I know when God is speaking to me and tells me to do something. And so I opened those introductory rates back up. It cost me quite a bit to be able to do that because I had people already paying at much higher rates. So can you imagine going to those people and actually working it out with them so that they can be made whole again? I won't go into more detail about that. I know the God that I serve, and I walk and do things as He tells me to do it. So right now, as of today, I should say, that introductory rate is back open, and so there's never going to be a better time to get into it right now. But my site is unlockinggreatness.com, so thank you for asking, baby. Sharon said it was spirit-led. Thank you, Sharon. You got the words out of my mouth that I was trying to say, because one of the people that kind of coach me on the side was like, you did what? Like, why would you do that if you're like, you know what, let me find me a different, anyway, I won't even get into it. Someone says, are you a pastor? I am not a licensed minister, baby. I'm just a woman who loves God. I've been committed to God my whole life. And I love Him with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. So I don't have any titles. I'm not a minister, prophetess, any of that. I just love God with all my heart, and Jesus Christ, Yeshua, is my Lord and Savior, just to be very clear on that. But thank you for asking. Okay, any other questions before I read this last scripture? You are an inspiration and a blessing. Thank you, DM. Will this be on the website? I'm in a meeting for work. It'll be saved on my site, this live. But let me go ahead and read this last passage. The whole point about this, you all, was when are you going to show up? All right. So for those who are just joining, I'm sorry you missed the whole thing. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay. But I'm basically challenging you all to make a decision that, you know what, I got to start showing up. I got to start showing up consistently, authentically, 100%. So for those of you who have a goal, a dream, a vision, anything of that kind, and it's been sitting or it's not quite off the ground like how you want it, or it's not growing at the speed you want, I am strongly encouraging you to get yourself into a good coaching or First of all, God is first. No coach is better than God. No mentoring program is going to be better than what you can get from the Holy Spirit. So let me correct myself. First of all, make God your number one priority. If you can't afford a dime to do nothing, you don't have to pay nothing to have a relationship with God. So let me just get that out there and be abundantly clear. That's number one, because that's where the answers are at. Secondly, begin to work on yourself and your mindset. And I encourage you to get into a good coaching program. Mine is back open at unlockinggreatness.com, and my introductory rates just became available again as of just a couple days ago. And for those who do join, especially the entrepreneur, please be at the meeting tomorrow at noon. We have a guest speaker coming in. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm praying that it helps a lot of people. Someone says, Miss, I want to be around more mature women, connect with God, make more money, and be present-minded. You pretty much just described what we have going on my end, so I would love to welcome you, baby. Do you think personal branding is more important than business branding? We've talked about that. We've had several branding sessions. We talk quite a bit about branding. I'll give you a very short answer to that because I want to read this passage and actually... Oh, I really got to go. The visitor we're having tomorrow that's going to be joining us, the entrepreneur sessions at Unlocking Greatness. I actually have a meeting with him at 2, and I didn't realize it was this late. So I've got to meet with him at 2 just so we can get prepared. But to answer your question, personal branding is extremely important because the business is the brand. You're the business. You are. Your personal brand is you. So absolutely, personal branding is important. To me, there's really no there's nothing separated with it. So that's the shortest answer I can give you. We've had a number of classes on personal branding. I teach quite a bit on that in our entrepreneur workshop sessions. In fact, if you go to my site at unlockinggreatness.com and you click on a tab that says workshops, you'll be able to scroll and see some of the workshops. Well, you won't be able to see it, but you'll at least see the subject matter, what we talked about, and you'll see I've talked about that subject quite a bit. Okay, let me read this, and I really got to go because I've got to meet him at 2, and I didn't realize I was live and my notification just popped up to remind me. Okay, Matthew chapter 25, we've read this before, the parable of the talents. I love this parable of the talents, one of my favorite, and you guys already know it. We've read it many times before, so I'm just going to kind of skim through it. So this is Jesus giving an sort of like a parable is a good way of putting it, about what it will be like at the time of the kingdom of heaven. But he says it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his property to him. He says to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. Now I'm going to go a little faster with this. Person that got the 5 talents, what did that person end up doing with the money? Anyone knows? Let's put the answer in here. So someone says, just purchased the book from Amazon. Thank you, Colette. She's referring to my book called Necessary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The audio book, the video book is actually available as a part of my retreat. I have a whole 12-week retreat based on my book as well. So thank you, thank you. So what did that person do that had 5 talents? Let's answer this really quickly, you guys, because I've got to meet Keith, our guest speaker, at 2 o'clock, so I've got to go in a little bit. What did the guy do that had the 5 talents? Who knows the answer to that? Thank you, Aruna. She says he doubled it. He made it to 10. Thank you, lovely. He doubled it. So what happened to the person that had the 2 talents? What did that person do? The person that had the 2. Thank you, Marika. Thank you, Miss Jazzy M. Nicole. What did the person do that had the 2 talents? Person that had the 2. What happened? Let me see the answer. Oh, hey, Mike. I'm glad you're in here. Mike, I hope you join us. I'm not sure if you attend the entrepreneur sessions with us, but if you do, make sure you're there tomorrow. And then, Mike, I'm going to be making an announcement because I know you can't always make those Monday sessions. I'm going to be trying to do things a little differently so that we can have a day outside of Monday that we can all meet as a group. And I'm talking to my staff to see if it's possible once a month we can work in some sort of a weekend segment on a Sunday. So I actually had you in mind, Mike, when I was talking to my team. So as soon as we make that decision, I'll let you go. But anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. So yes, the person that had 2 talents doubled it, right? So now let's go on to see the one that had the 1 talent. So here it is. Then the man, I'm in verse 24, Matthew 25:24. Then the man who had received the 1 talent came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you've not sown and gathering where you've not scattered seeds. So I was afraid. Now remember, the whole point of this live was about showing up. You guys follow me? Showing up. See, I know, I need to get out there, but the website's not right, or I'm not sure how exactly do I go live on TikTok, or what exactly do I talk about, and what if my book's not written yet? I get that a lot, and I'm like, nobody waits till their book is written to start talking about it and promoting it. If I hear one more person that tells me, what if my book isn't written yet? Baby, and that's the kind of stuff you learn when you're in the right setting. You never wait till your book is done. If anyone have my book necessary, you guys know, you followed me on that journey for how many years? 2 years, all the way up even till my son died. Remember that? You guys followed me for 2 years through that journey before the book was written. You take people with you on the journey, baby. I know I deviated a second, but that's some of the stuff you'll learn when you're in the right environment, in the right mentorship community. Take people with you on the journey. So by the time your product launches, you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people sitting there ready for it. But let me keep going. I'm actually teaching that to a lady right now in one of my executive one-to-one coaching sessions. She's doing that exact thing now. But anyway, where was I at? So he says, Master, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you've not sown and gathering where you've not scattered seeds. He says, so I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant, so you knew that I harvest where I've not sown and gather where I've not scattered seed. He says in verse 27, well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest. And then he goes on to say, take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. That's a good passage for those of you to look at, for those of you who feel like God is not a God of abundance. And then he says, but whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. I don't even want to read the last line to you, because he's talking about, throwing that worthless service out into the darkness, and goes on to talk about where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. It gets pretty gruesome. And I used to have a hard time with that passage, like, wait a minute. The guy was scared. He only had one talent. And I know that some people feel that way at times. I know that I do at times. I don't have much, God. Now, if you guys have my book Necessary, I've talked about that quite a bit. All the ups and downs, right? When I was doing well in my business and when I didn't have a dime and we had to borrow money, right? I mean, I've been through the ups and downs. I've been working since I was 13 years old, right? I grew up on welfare my entire life. It wasn't until I finished college that my mother was finishing college. God rest her soul. So I understand. Don't think you're looking at a businesswoman who can't relate. No, baby. I done ate out of most shelters and had more powdered eggs. Some of y'all don't even know what that tastes like, but that's another subject. I won't get into that. The point I'm trying to make, the man was scared because he only had a little bit. And he's like, but what if I mess this up? And you would think, and this is Jesus telling the parable, which is what's so interesting. You would think it would be, well, I understand. And no. There was an expectation that what I put into you, what I've given you, I expect there to be a return. I expect you to use what I've given you. But I'm scared. I understand that you're afraid, but I expect a return. But I don't know exactly what to do. That's not an excuse. Get the help you need. Come to me. I'm referring to the Bible, going to Jesus. Come to me. Come to me in prayer. Come to me in study. Get the help you need. But I expect a return. But I tried and it didn't work out those 10 times. But I expect a return on what I put in you. I gave you that book. I gave you that vision. I gave you that idea. And it's been 12 years and you're still sitting on it. I expect a return. That's what I love about this passage. I'm not sitting in judgment on any one of you guys. I'm really not. I'm sharing with you what helps me show up. Even when I feel some of those examples I just gave. This ain't me judging you. Did I just say ain't? You know what I mean. I'm not judging you. I'm sharing with you, this is what I go to when I'm tempted to feel, but God, I'm just tired. Been at this for years, I'm tired, but I expect a return. I gave you the gift of encouragement. I gave you the gift of helping those who mourn. I gave you the gift of helping the brokenhearted. I expect a return. And so I have to show up and give that return. And even on days when I don't feel like it, my business is not always going great. Are you kidding me? My family is not always perfect. In fact, hardly ever is. You get my point? But God expects a return. And so I show up and I give him my best. And that's what I'm encouraging you all to do. When will you start showing up again? And I understand some of you all are tired. I get it. I really do. That's why it's important. Get your butt into a good community of people. It could be church, organization, nonprofit organizations. I don't care what it is. Some of you may want to get into a good coaching program, which I highly recommend. Mine's back open at unlockinggreatness.com. Come on in. We'll wrap our arms around you and welcome you. Welcome you with open arms, right? But get into something. Get into something if you feel like, but I'm just not fit. Get some help. Does that make sense? As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. There is a return that is expected on what's been put inside of you. And I understand you get tired sometimes. And life comes at you in 50 different ways. You think I didn't get knocked off of my feet when my son died? You freaking kidding me? You think I felt like showing up encouraging somebody? I couldn't show up and encourage you guys. Barely hanging on myself. But I was able to show up in my brokenness, and many of you all, thank you all so much for the prayers. Many of you all rode with me through the storm. I even wrote about it in my book, Necessary, am I right? You guys were there for me when I would just show up and just literally just be crying and telling somebody else, baby, don't give up on God. Somebody else that lost their child. Telling somebody else, I don't feel like I can embrace God right now. I'm still disappointed that he let my son die. I still don't understand why. But I'm here to tell you, if you're too weak to pray, do what I'm doing and just let him hold you. You see what I'm saying? That's showing up. Let me get my butt off of here. I'm supposed to join Keith at 1. For those of you who are in the Unlocking Greatness community, Keith is phenomenal, you guys. He's going to be our guest speaker tomorrow, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Make sure you're on that call. For those of you who are not a member, you guys are more than welcome to join. My site is unlockinggreatness.com. My introductory offers have just been put back up there maybe 2-3 days ago, so you really have no excuse at this point, whether you want personal development or entrepreneur. And just to explain really quickly, because I get this question all the doggone time. I don't know how we can make it clear on my site, but I'll do my best to do it. There's 2 ways of joining. You can come in under personal development, which means you get access to the Necessary retreat. At least as of today you do, because that may be changing. But you get access to the retreat. You get access to attending 2 personal development workshops a month. Since every other Monday you're going to be with me on a Zoom call and a whole lot of people from all around the world. And it's phenomenal. Or you can come in on the entrepreneur end. And on the entrepreneur end, you get to attend the personal development workshops and the entrepreneur workshops. So that means every doggone week you're in a workshop with me, for those who wants to get help with entrepreneur. And the entrepreneurs are meeting tomorrow at noon for those of you who are members. And let's welcome Keith with open arms. He's phenomenal, and he's going to really bless us. He's an amazing, amazing man of God. His family is phenomenal. I love everything about them. And a highly successful businessman, highly successful. He'll talk more about that privately with you all. And he's going to be there to encourage you all about not giving up. He's going to be there to encouraging you all about how to handle the ups and downs of your business. He's one of the ones who taught me, there are some times where you have to realize I got to fish in a different pond. And he said, that's the season I went through. And I don't want to give away some of the things he's going to talk about, but he's one of the ones that opened my eyes to seeing that. He's like, sometimes you can get too comfortable just being at that same pond. So it's going to be a phenomenal session for those of you who are already members, and I'll see you tomorrow. I got to go. My site is unlockinggreatness.com for those who want to join. I pray you guys have been encouraged. I will do my best to try to go live very, very briefly later today. I don't even know what time, but closer around 4, give or take, because I've got a live event scheduled later around 4:30ish, but I'll do my very best. But if you don't catch me again, you'll know that the introductory rates are back open. I love you all. Thank you, Celine, for your words. Thank you. Thank you. Someone says you are a blessing. Thank you so much. Mike says, I truly recommend her community. It's truly a family. Mike, thank you. You know we love you. We love you so much. All right, love you guys. I'm supposed to be on a call with him right now at 2. I've got to welcome our guest that's going to be joining us tomorrow. So I got to go. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Love you all. Love you, love you. Bye-bye. How do I close out of this? Bye, you guys. Love you.